The alveolar is that region immediately behind the upper teeth, that is the hard palate towards the front part of the mouth. And examples of such sound are t, d, n, l, s, z, and r. Then the next one is labiodental. From that word labiodental, we discover that two words have been merged, that is labio and dental. Labio has to do with the lip, and then the teeth. So sounds produced in this manner are produced with the upper teeth and the lower lip, that is the upper teeth and the lower lip glide together. And examples of such sounds are and the next one is the dental sounds. Dental sounds are produced with the tip of the tongue blocking the free flow of air by gliding with the upper teeth. Examples are the sound and we have palatal. Palatal sounds are produced when the tongue is touching the hard palate. The hard palate means the roof of the mouth, that is the hard part of the roof of the mouth. There are two parts in the roof of the mouth. We have the hard palate, that is the one towards the front of the mouth, and then the other one behind, towards the throat. It is called the soft palate. So palatal sounds are those ones that are produced when the tongue is touching the hard palate. We have just one palatal sound in English language, and that is a j. The next one is palato-alveolar. Palato-alveolar sounds are produced when the tongue is touching the hard palate and the tip of the tongue is touching the alveolar. So we have the tongue touching two parts of the mouth at the same time. The body of the tongue is raised towards the hard palate, while the tip of the tongue is touching the alveolar ridge. Examples are sh, j, ch, and j. The next one is velar. Velar sounds are produced when the back of the tongue is touching the soft palate or the velum. The soft palate is also referred to as the velum. Examples include k, g, and ng. The glottis. There is only one glottal sound in English language, and that is h. It is called glottis because it is produced with the larynx, which consists of two vocal cords that have an opening between them. So it is produced from the back of the mouth. Now we are going to be considering consonant sounds and their manners of articulation. That is talking about how we can describe consonant sounds. The first one we'll be considering is the plosive sounds. Plosive sounds are produced when there is total obstruction of air in the organs that are responsible for their production. And when there is obstruction of air, suddenly the air is released, causing a vibration. These sounds are also called stop, and their examples are pa, ba, ta, da, ka, and g. The next one is fricative. Fricative sounds are produced when there is a partial closure in the organ of speech, coupled with a slow and continuous release of air. So unlike the plosive sounds, these involve just partial closure in the organs of speech responsible. So there is partial closure in fricative, while in plosive we have total obstruction. Examples of fricative sounds are sh, the, v, sh, s, z, h, and sh. Affricates. We have sounds that are called affricates too. In their production, there used to be total obstruction of air in the organs responsible, but the air is gradually released. Examples of such sounds are ch and j. We have nasal sounds as well. Nasal sounds are produced when the velum is lowered to allow the free flow of air through the nasal cavity. Such sounds are naturally voiced. So all nasal sounds are voiced. None of them is voiceless. Examples of nasal sounds are m, n, and ng. Lateral sounds. There is only one lateral sound in English language, and it is produced with obstruction of air at the center of the mouth, but a free flow of air at the two sides. So when you produce the lateral sound, there is obstruction of air at the center of the mouth, but the air is freely flowing, will be flowing freely on the two sides of the mouth. That is, the tongue will be blocking the center while the air will flow through the two sides of the tongue. The only lateral sound in English language is L. We have approximants. These are sounds that are also referred to as a semi-vowel because there is a free flow of air during their production and there is no obstruction. So examples include J and W. Retroflex approximants. There is only one sound in this category, and it is produced with partial closure at the center, but with vibrations between the articulator and the place of articulation. The only retroflex approximant sound is R. To the state of the glottis, that is another parameter for categorizing consonant sounds. The state of the glottis explains the position of the vocal cord in sound production. There are two main parameters for determining the state of the glottis. They are voiced sounds. The voiced sounds are produced when the two vocal cords are tightly close together to each other, therefore prompting a forceful release of air and a vibration in the oral cavity. So in producing voiced sounds, there is going to be a closure, a tightly closed vocal cord. The vocal cords will be tightly close to one another, to each other, and then it will prompt a forceful release of air. Then the release of air will eventually lead to vibration in the oral cavity. Voiced sounds in English language include B, V, Z, D, Z, J, G, M, N, L, R, Ng, W, and J. The voiceless sounds. The voiceless sounds are produced when the two vocal cords are resting apart, allowing free flow of air through the trachea without any vibration. So they are word and opposite. The voiced sound involves the vocal cords coming together, tightly close together, while the voiceless sound has to do with the vocal cords resting apart. So examples of voiceless sounds in English language are pa, ta, s, sh, ch, k, ha, and j. Now we are going to pick the consonant sounds one after the other, and we are going to describe them with necessary examples. Description of consonant sounds. The first one we'll be talking about is the sound pa. Pa is produced with the two lips coming together and a partial obstruction of airflow. There is minimal vibration in the production of pa at the vocal cord. Hence, it is a voiceless bilabial plosive sound. It can be realized at the initial, middle, and final position of English words. Now the spellings are P, PH, and double P. Let's check out some of the examples. We can realize pa at the initial stage. Examples include pot, plate, pick. At the middle stage, we can have something like shepherd, contemplate, lapse, and then at the final stage, we can have chip, step, and cap, etc. We should note that pa is silent in the following words. That is, when you see the sound in some words, some of the words that we have outlined here, it is voiceless. It does not reflect in the pronunciation. Words like psalm, as in P-S-A-L-M, pneumonia, empty, psychology, diaphragm, photo, receipt, cool, physics, philosophy. You will discover that it is only physical representation. The sound pa is only physically represented. It is not represented in sound.